And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the Sparkling Tuna Cup, week number 81, your weekly dose of open StarCraft here on the Cranky Ducklings. I'm a host, Live VIP, and with me I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in the chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome, welcome, one and all. Oh my god, as we are jumping right into our first series of the night. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys wish to have a look at the bracket yourselves. The bracket is live, the bracket is stacked, and we are jumping into our first series. Here we go, as spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have the Italian Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing Bing Bong Exports. It is Azura. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the orange Zurich player from the land of Sweden, representing clan, or representing team GDA. It is Davelitoss. Here we go. Oh, and if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we are jumping in. We'll be going over the bracket after this series. Don't you worry, we will get there. But again, the bracket is stacked, and we will once again be going over those matches after this best of 3. Let's go. As we are locked into the round of 32. Yo, speaking of, shout out to the tuna, of course, as always. Shout out to the tuna. Again, thank you so much to all the patrons that we have in the chat as well. God, thank you so much. It's thanks to all the support that we get on Patreon that we're able to host and fund this event on a regular weekly basis. Likewise, we are so close to reaching our next goal to boost the prize pool. Currently, this tournament is very top heavy. Very top heavy. Currently, only top 2. Only top 2 do earn any prize money alongside the random raffle, of course. But we are so close to top 4. Top 4 getting paid out as well. Thank you to all those supporters. Otherwise, we're going to be settling in. So far, going to be a hatch and gas pool. Standard opener here out of our Zurich player. Likewise, Azura across the map going for his own gate expand. It does Cybercore. Standard openers all around. Azura opts not to go for the wall though. So the opener, the build is standard, but the setup is not. A little bit concerning is what I will say. A little bit concerning that the wall is wide open. This does mean that a rush and aggression can be very, very effective here from the side of Davelitoss, and he will spot the wide open natural. Does spot, does confirm. And we'll see if that does trigger response out of our Zurich player. Now, shout out to Davelitoss. Davelitoss, he is more of an amateur player, more so than Azura. Azura, of course, he is a lot more of a pro, or at least I would say a semi-pro. Does compete quite regularly, was on Alpha X for a long time. Nowadays on Bing Bong Exports, of course. And oh my god, what's happening? As we are going for a gate expanded Cybercore into Forge? Question mark. What is the plan here? Where are we going? Where are you taking us? Where are you taking us, Pappy? Let him cook, Pappy. Let him cook. I'm ready. Sentry follow-up? Okay. I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm a little bit anxious as well as to what Azura is cooking up. Setting up here on the low ground. Is going to set up his SimCity here eventually. Delayed, of course, but is on the way. No shield. Like, this is so risky. Lings dip in, and there's not really too much to threaten, but again, like, Azura is very vulnerable to aggression. Sentry under fire, Stalker does pop out, and with the help of the Stalker, the Sentry should survive. Oh, it's going to be pinned down though. Force the force field. Does survive. And we have more Lings on the way. Again, I would not be opposed to a Ling Flood, but as I say that, the wall is looking solid. We're getting there, and the Stalker is getting in position. Yeah, Stalker now in position. Boys being pulled. Couple of workers are exposed. Ling speed does complete. Lings are flooding across the map. But Warp Gate is about to finish. Warp Gate is about to complete. And there is a force field. Yeah, there's a force field available. Dave, he will dip in. Behind this, droning up. He will poke at the wall. But so far, Azura holds. Azura, he is going to wall off. And again, there is potential. There was potential for like, all-in and aggression, but Davelitoss, he's droning up. So Azura, he is now safe and sound. He's gone away with a very crazy build, and now we're turning this into a 2-base all-in. So 2-base all-in out of Azura. Azura by now should have an expansion, but he has no base, he has no Stargate either. He's rushing to +1. +1 is finishing up real fast and real quick, and should soon be pushing. We're waiting for the Robo, I would imagine, for a Warp Prism to reinforce across the map. Twilight Council is now done. Waiting for that Robo. Ling poking out. Extra gateways on the way. Yeah, again, just confirming that this is a 2-base all-in. So straight up 2-base all-in here from Azura. getting up to so far a 5-gate setup, sorry, a 6-gate setup, so 6-gate 2 base. And we're waiting for, yep, that Prism. Prism is on the way. And with the arrival of this Warp Prism, we can commit across the map, we can reinforce, we have defensive blink essentially with that Warp Prism. Extra gateways being thrown down. Did I say a 2-base 6-gate all-in? It's turning into a 2-base 8-gate all-in. And, getting up to 9. Never mind, we're still building up. Oh no, sorry, still 8. Still 8 gates, as that is a Templar Archives towards the end. I believe this is lined up in such a way where you can morph in Archons by the time the Prism gets across the map. So we should be able to warp in around 2 or so Archons. So we are moving out. This expansion is catching me off guard. Again, there's just such a massive gateway setup here that a 3rd base doesn't make as much sense, but we'll see if it ever gets saturated, because we should be moving out soon. Charge is so delayed. I'll be honest, like this is a Frankenstein of a build. I'll be honest, like because of the fast upgrades, we're gonna hit a +2 timing, which is crazy. But charge is still incredibly delayed. The Prism is moving out, that is true, but we're not really committing as hard as we should. Just dipping into the main. Okay, Azura, you have my attention. Let him play it out. Let him play it out. Throughout all this, we've been focusing a little on our Protoss player. I'm from the side of our Zerg. Saturation is lackluster. To be honest, saturation is very lackluster here. We're on 2-base saturation. We overmade Lings early on because of the early Ling and Roach production that has eaten into our economies, and as a result, Davelitoss, he is falling behind. He's falling behind here. Again, just invested too heavily too early on, and that means his economy is behind. And now here comes the push. Let's go. And it is actually hitting in time with +2 and with charge. It's actually lined up. Okay. I didn't have faith. I didn't believe, but no. +2 and charge actually lined up perfectly. And here comes the all-in. And there's not much to defend. There's not much here for Davelitoss, as reinforcements have arrived. Again, we can soon warp in 8 Zealots at a time. There's our first 4. There's our 2 for 6. And the base will fall. Yeah, the base will crumble. Davelitoss trying to move forward. Alas, Azura will be able to collapse in. Force fields down the army, locks it down. There's no Ravagers, there's no way to break the force fields. And with that, Azura, he's snowballing out of control. GG gets called, as that was a meat grinder, and Azura will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played, Azura. He will claim the first game. Again, Davelitoss, unfortunate supply block at the wrong moment as well. But in general, I don't blame Davelitoss because it was a very unusual build. It was a very unorthodox one. It all did line up, though, for Azura. The 3rd base may have thrown Davelitoss off. It may have thrown him off here, thinking that maybe he was going to macro, that maybe he had more time. But again, the 3rd base never came into play. Again, the 3rd base was just for show. It was just for show. It was a 2-base all-in from Azura. He did commit, hit with a very crisp timing with that +2, of course. It did snowball from there. GG. GG, well played. Unfortunately, Davelitoss, again, he kind of stumbled his way into that mid-game and was vulnerable. We'll see if he can recover. We'll see if he can bounce back coming into game number 2. Let's go. Let us go. As we are jumping into that 3rd, or into that 2nd game. We're cooking. What is that? Why is there pizza? You're making me hungry, Papi. Oh my god. Here we go. Jumping into that 2nd game. And we'll see if old-mate Davelitoss here can get a fast one over on Azura. I want to believe. Do you want to believe? See what builds our players go for. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of ley lines, we have our Italian Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Bing Bong Exports, BBE. It is Azura. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Swedish Zerg player, the Orange Zerg, representing Team GDA. It is Davelitoss. We go. As this time, much more of a standard setup, Azura is walling up. As a reminder, this is something that we didn't quite see last game, which I was really scared of. Like, I assumed that Azura could be punished for his greed, but this time, much more standard here, going for the gateway, into expansion, into cybercore, walling up early on. Yo, shout out to the tuna. God, they're so close to each other. The tunas. Beautiful. Beautiful. Azura, he moves out with the probe scouts. Again, setting up for his expansion. And Davelitoss so far just going hatch into gas, into spawning pool. Should be a standard setup here from our Zerg player. Yeah, is getting there. So hatch, pool, gas. Slight variation, but overall, standard build. We're getting there. And we'll see if Azura has another wild build up his sleeve. We'll see if he does have something crazy. Again, that was already a crazy build in the last game. Going for that +2 charge, 2 base all in. And, we'll see what he goes for this time. Cheer up. Cheer down. Cheer to the left. Don't get lost, man. You don't get lost. Be careful. Be careful. Don't take a wrong turn. No. Take us all the way. So now. But now we are just going to be saturating. And nothing too crazy yet. So my eyes are mainly going to be on Azura. Based on the last game. Again, my eyes are on any kind of quirky builds, but so far everything's looking normal. Again, wall off on the low ground, Stargate follow-up, everything is looking as it should. So standard build so far. This should lead into an Oracle opener into a third base. We'll see if Azura does mix it up a little bit and go for a Void Ray first. That is also viable. But outside of game one, here we're looking much more normal, much more standard. It's like he's gotten it out of his system, you know. He had these primal urges that he had to get rid of. He was an animal. Now we're back to basics. As Azura does dip in, we do have the Oracle opener. As I did mention, oh, never mind, gonna be switching it up, cancels the Oracle, does start the Void Ray, and the goal here is to hunt down the Overlord. Now, when it comes to a Void Ray opener, you can hide builds, you can hide tech, you can use this to hunt down Overlords, and to keep the Zerg player in the dark. From here, you can go do something crazy, go for a Fleet Beacon, into a second Stargate, into Skytoss, into Tempest, into Carrier, you can go for an early Twilight Council, go for early Glaives. There are some cheeky builds you can hide with this, or you can do something crazier and play normal, play standard. You can go Void Ray opener into an Oracle, into your third base, into Saturation, into +1 and Blink, and a standard game state. Oh, there it is though. That is a Twilight Council before the third. Bear that in mind. So very early tech here from Azura is going to be much more aggressive as a result. This could be one of two things. This could be either really fast Glaives for a Glaive Adept follow-up after third base, or this could be early Blink to go for potentially a 3-base 8-gate Blink all-in. So we'll keep an eye on what upgrade is going to be prioritized. We have options. Azura does have options. Back at home, we do see Dave. He is joining up, saturating his bases. Oh, it is going to be an early lair. That is a 420 lair timing from Davelitoss. This might just be for a commitment into roaches. And meanwhile, ooh, that my mistake. We are going for charge, not Glaives or Blink. Early charge. This should be an early charge timing. I would imagine this is going to hit with Archons. We're throwing down gateways, that is true, but we have extra gases. If this was just a pure charge all in, we would not need these gases whatsoever. So I imagine we're going to be seeing a Templar Archives alongside this to reinforce with a handful of Archons as well, as we have that gateway explosion. So it is going to be a very aggressive build here from Azura. He's still building up. And again, this is a rare sight as well. You don't often see charge as a follow-up. So again, I appreciate that we're being more creative here. I appreciate it, Azura. Oracle dips in, confirms saturation. Again, saturation is late. Davelitoss does make a couple of safety roaches, a couple of safety units here, which again does slow down his overall economy. Lair is done. And again, it was an earlier lair. And, oh, it's to go into Hydras. Now, right here against Charge Lots, against Immortals, against Archons, against the army that's building up, we do need an abundance of Roach Ravager to help defend, help survive. It is going to hit like a truck here. Now, once again, we do see Azura, he throws down a much later Forge. So he is building up towards a later timing, But before that, charge is already done, so he's moving out. He's already sending it across the map, and unfortunately, I didn't see an Overlord. I mean, there wouldn't be because of the Void Ray, right? The Void Ray did hunt down the Overlords. This is catching Davelitoss off guard. Davelitoss, he has been droning up, and he's not ready for this. He's not ready. He has 3 roaches. Rushing in position. Zelts, they could commit. He could just go for it, but he doesn't. Oh, Azura, he does pull away. There was, honestly, he could have overwhelmed this army. The 3 roaches, these queens would not have been enough. But Azura, he plays it safe. He just pokes in. He scares Davelitoss. He's like, ah. they just backs off. Okay. Mate, they're just on a run. You know, they're fine. They're chilling. They're Chilean, papi. Don't worry about it. They don't lapse. Never mind. As they will threaten the expansion, and the base is going to be denied. Ooh, there's a cancel. Again, Azura's being very, very careful with this and very conservative with his army. Now, on the one hand, he's missing out on damage. That is true. That is true. He's missing out on damage. You're not wrong. But on the other hand, he's at least preserving the Zealots. The Zealots, they're still alive. They have not been thrown away. And this means that he is ready for what comes next. And what is next? We did mention it earlier. Archons. But Storm also on the way. +1. Immortal production. He's building up towards a greater push. Towards a greater timing. I would say that he got here inefficiently. Because of the early Twilight Council and the early charge, I would say that not enough was done with charge to justify it. So we could have gone for an earlier forge, for example, earlier +1. This could have been an earlier +2 timing if he had gone for a faster 3rd base as well. Like, there's definitely ways that we could have refined this, but a lot of it, I would say, comes down to the fact that he didn't really get much done with the Zelts early on. I canceled the 5th base, to be fair, but regardless, army moves out, and yo, Azura, he's ready. He's ready. He has a robust army. He's got 2 Archons, an Immortal. He's got 4 High Templar, each with 1 Storm. Cashes out all the Queens. The Queens, they go down in an instant. And Azura is going for the kill. Behind this, we have some Roach Hydra massing up. 11 more Roaches on the way. But here come the Storms. And Storms, they turn back the army. The expansion is going to go down. And here, Davelitoss, he just doesn't have enough. He just doesn't have enough here to contest against this army. Roaches are being denied. And now he has a comparable Roach force, but it is supply blocked. Overlords are going down, and here comes Azura. He's pushing right down mid, in between the bases, towards that 3rd. Towards the natural, Roach one's exposed. Storm will connect. He dives up with the High Templar. Does dive in. Oh, got the Storm. Oh, the Storms, they connect, and Roaches, they melt. GG gets called. The army crumbles, and Azura will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round. GG. GG, well played, Azura. He will claim the series, will advance on into the next round. My condolences to Davelitoss, but a shout out as well for competing here in tonight's tournament. Davelitoss, he's a very active player, and does very often compete in our tournaments, even in our amateur events as well. So big shout out to Davelitoss for competing here. Shout out to Azura for some quirky builds. Again, this I would say game 2 was the closest to a standard game, but even then it was only the opener that was standard. The early charge, less so. Or the charge follow-up, less so. So really cool to see some more diverse builds here by Azura. GG, well played. GG, well played. That will lead us here into our next game, into our next setup. As we have some updates in the bracket. Let's go. Exclamation mark, be in the chat if you guys want to have a look back yourselves. Oh, my apologies, I will sort the out of game logo.